Hip hip hooray, it's the weekend here at Muscle in the Morning. And I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Friday, July 20th, 2018. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. As we mentioned on yesterday's show, last weekend Juliana Malacarne officially pulled out of the 2018 Olympia. And according to reports, Malacarne has stated that this is by no means a retirement from competition at this point in time. It's simply a long overdue mental and physical break from the grind of competing at the highest level for almost a decade. What this means for the future of the women's physique division moving forward probably means that we're looking at a decade of Shanique Grant and Nathalia Coelho going toe-to-toe, Ali Frazier style, for a title that's only changed hands twice since the start of the division. And now that we're going to have two vacant titles and a looming Flex Lewis retirement in the 212 division, all of a sudden, the new era of bodybuilding looks like it might be here sooner than we might have all expected. One of the things you hear from people who age well is that they never stop trying to find new ways to push outside of their comfort zone. And as far as I can tell, 212 legend Jose Raymond is anything but comfortable right now. Recently, the Boston Mass dropped a short clip from one of his recent leg training sessions where we see the 20-year veteran hammering out a few PRs that would have made the great Ronnie Coleman smile. By all accounts, Jose is right on track to come back and be in contention for the title again this year in a field that seems like it's gotten awfully top-heavy all of a sudden. But even with some of these young guys nipping at his heels, if he shows up at 100%, it's hard not to think that he won't be standing next to Flex Lewis trying to give him everything he can handle in hopes of winning the title. There's a saying in sports that goes something to the effect of young teams don't win championships. So I guess it probably works out in her favor then that longtime fitness vet Myriam Capes has a few rounds under her belt. This week, Capes and her team released a few clips from their pre-show prep to give her fans a sneak peek at what she's doing to work out the kinks in this year's routine. For the better part of the last decade, Capes has been a perennial top 5 athlete in the fitness division. With so much riding on this year's contest, you can't help but think that this is a now or never sort of moment as far as title hopes are concerned. So if we can get one of those vintage Myriam Capes Las Vegas spectaculars, I think she has as good a chance as anyone to be crowned the next Miss Fitness Olympia. Back when I was growing up in New York, a few of us would get together and play cards in one of my friends' basements on the weekends. And I always hated when people would start calling out wild cards, because it changed the dynamic of the entire game. And when you try to survey the table at this year's 212 Olympia, one of the biggest wild cards I see has got to be 2018 New Zealand Pro winner Jafar Ghafarnezhad. Jafar essentially dropped out of the sky to win that show and then turned around 1 week later to give some of the best athletes in the division all they can handle with his top 10 finish at the Arnold Australia. Since early March, all we've seen is a trail of spicy breadcrumbs coming from Jafar and his team. But based on this little bit that we've seen, this guy could be bad for business if you're a potential top 10 finisher. Whether or not he can pull the genie back out of the bottle again for the Olympia is still anyone's guess right now. But I can't say that I'd be shocked if 2 months from now he ends up finishing his season as one of the top 10 ranked athletes in the division. Do you remember that old Super Mario game in Nintendo where your guy would double in size after you ate one of those magic mushrooms? Well, I'm starting to think that might be a lot closer to reality than we all think based on what we've seen from Brandon Curry over these last few weeks. Once again, the Tennessee native is hunkered down at Oxygen Gym in Kuwait for this year's Olympia prep, where he and the Camel crew seem to be brewing up some of that magic mushroom voodoo once again. Last year, Curry made himself one of the tag storylines heading into the weekend because we all saw what he was capable of at his New Zealand Pro and Arnold Australia wins. But without having those two trial runs to work out all the little kinks, it does make you wonder whether or not they can pull off that same sort of Vegas Super Size Me routine again come September. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions. And make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.